Chapter 11, she held her finger out and clicked, Cell Regeneration, Level 3, Dark Energy, Level 1, Mastery in Flight, Level 1. It was a good thing to find out that she had passive skills. For a moment she forgot what she had just been dreaming, but when she remembered, her body trembled and fear flashed through her beautiful eyes. Was it simply a dream, or are they memories of the former owner of this body? Nero didn't know what the truth was, but seeing how fast her heart was racing, the fear she felt was definitely real. It was as if what happened after she met the doctor the demon spoke to was terrifying enough to make her wake up scared. Closing her eyes tightly, she tried to erase what she saw in her mind. Looking at the primal slime, Nero said, "Ugly little thing, don't tell anyone that I fell off the tree while I slept, okay?" She showed her tongue and giggled for no apparent reason. Even though she knew that primal slime probably did not understand a single word she said, she was more or less excited to say that to primal slime, knowing that it was not good to remain weak as she was. Nero continued on her monster hunting journey. It took only a few minutes for her to find a slime. I wonder, how do these slime reproduce? Nero had this doubt. She saw many of these slimes, but could not imagine how they reproduced. Although curious about it, she didn't remain too attached to the thought. Seeing that the slime in front of her was just a level 3 pink slime, Nero wanted to fight hand-to-hand instead of throwing rocks like she normally did. When she thought about doing that, Nero wasted no time. She ran very fast towards pink slime, and at the exact moment that pink slime jumped, she kicked from the bottom up, making it launch like a rocket going towards the air. Being barefoot, she felt a strange sensation when coming into contact with pink slime's body with her foot, and saw with her own eyes the pink body of pink slime being deformed by the kick. Peering up at the blue sky, she saw the pink ball falling from the air. Nero dodged its landing and saw pink slime hit the dirt floor. Thud. You defeated the monster plant, pink slime, rank F, level 3, wow. He died so easily. Even she was surprised to see that she only needed one kick to kill this level 3 pink slime. Nero came over and put her hand on the slimy body that spread out across the dirt floor. Would you like to loot the monster plant, pink slime, rank F, level 3? Clicking, yes, pink slime turned into a green mist and was absorbed by her hand. Rank F monster core level 3 has been added to your inventory. 1. Green herb rank F low quality has been added to your inventory. 30. Essence currency has been added to your inventory. Nero gave a loud cry. Her lovely cry echoed throughout the forest, rising towards the heavens. Take that punch. With her fists clenched, Nero attacked a level 3 green slime. You defeated the monster plant, green slime, rank F, level 3, air. The ease of killing a level 3 slime like that left her speechless. Nero was still adapting to her new body and power. In front of her hand in the direction of green slime, a holographic page appears. Would you like to loot the monster plant, green slime, rank F, level 3, Nero clicked, yes. __1, rank F monster core level 3, has been added to your inventory. 1, grade F plant thin stem, low quality, has been added to your inventory. 35, essence currency, has been added to your inventory. Now I have 3 monster cores. Nero touched her a finger to her cherry-colored lips and opened the inventory. Clicking on the icon showing the monster cores, she removed the level 2 first, absorbed the monster core. Yes/no, Nero clicked, yes. You have increased 1 energy point, you have increased 1.5 strength points. Progress, rank F, level 1, 5%, 1/20th monster core rank F level 2, huh? Nero was confused. Before, it had given a lot more points when absorbing the nuclei. Has my gain decreased due to the increase in my level? If so, I must first raise my strength and energy to the maximum before leveling up again. Nero said in her heart. She regretted not raising her strength to 50 before advancing to level 1. Taking another 2 monster cores that were level 2 and 3 respectively, Nero absorbed them as well. Absorb the monster core. Yes/no, Nero clicked, yes. You have increased 1.2 energy points, you have increased 1.3 strength points, you have increased 0.4 energy points, you have increased 0.6 strength points. Progress, rank F, level 1, 15%. 3/20ths monster core rank F level 2. Although it was not a significant increase, Nero felt very good whenever her strength and energy increased. She opened her status as Nero Diaz, breed, hybrid, class, uneven, subclass, enchantress, rank F, level 1, 15%, 3/20ths monster core rank F level 2, attributes, energy, mana 52.64, strength, hybrid 42. 7-4, I don't know how many points it takes to be full at my current level, so I better be cautious. I will first use the monster cores to strengthen myself, and if I am not full when I get close to leveling up, I will start using Essence Coin to raise my status. Nero was no fool. She imagined that the moment all her attributes were full, she would stop increasing and waste resources on points the moment she used the cores of monsters to level up. Precisely because of this, she would not use Essence Coin until she was close to leveling up. Chapter 12, and preferably, I should just absorb the level 2 nuclei. If I continue to absorb the level 3 monster cores, I will end up reaching the point limit before I even evolve. Of course, Nero knew she was just thinking too much. She also imagined that just as at level 0, she could raise her points to 50 points, at level 1, she should probably go up to 100 points. However, there was no way she could be sure of that, and it was never good to do things blindly. After thinking of these things, Nero started walking through the forest again. Damn you, why are you doing this? A young man, with skin slightly darkened by the sun and brown eyes, asked cautiously, Jair. A young woman with short hair and greenish-brown eyes was shaking from fear while she and her group were surrounded by 10 bandits. Seeing the way these bandits looked at her and her friend Choco, she feared a lot for what would happen if they were captured. Kakik. Boy, blame your own bad luck for coming across the infamous Silver Thief Guild. With a sinister smile, licking the blade of the dagger, the bandit leader said lasciviously, besides, I can't let you live after finding out what we're going to do with these two beautiful, hot girls. Jana, Choco, another young man, with brown hair and black eyes, said with determination, when you have a chance, run away. Jair and I will delay them in the meantime. We can't do that, Breno. Choco, a teenager with blue hair and purple eyes, said. She had a pair of large gloves around her hand and looked at the bandits. Prepare to kill if necessary. Breno is right, Choco, Jair added, even if you two stay here, we won't be able to defeat them all. Just listen to us and run away, don't let these animals catch you too. Jair was Jana's older brother and was very fond of Choco as a friend. He definitely did not want to let his sister and his friend be raped by these animals. Jana bit her lower lip until it bled. Looking at Choco with tears in her eyes, she said, Choco, I also don't want to go and leave my brother and Breno behind, but we can't be captured by them. I don't want them to touch me, ha ha ha. For the bandits this was all very funny and moving. They were 10 people. While their targets were only 4 people, and yet, they still believed that they could let these 2 girls get away? Impossible. They wouldn't have called themselves the Silver Bandits if they let something like that happen, idiots. None of you are going to make it out of here alive, the bandit leader, almost 200 centimeters tall, said, but don't worry. At least you 2 girls are going to taste a little of heaven before you die. Keek, finished speaking, the bandit leader laughed hysterically in a bizarre fashion. The other bandits also started to laugh, and their laughter echoed throughout the forest. It was so loud that a young winged woman who was flying in the sky in search of strong monsters to kill was able to hear them. The young woman stopped flying and furrowed her beautiful eyebrows, displaying a thoughtful expression. What is happening in that direction? And what disgusting laughs are these? Should I go and see what's going on? The young lady who was flying with her beautiful white wings that were slightly darkened with some pink feathers wondered while gliding through the air. Although Jair and Breno were willing to sacrifice their lives to let the 2 girls in their group escape, that did not mean that they did not fear death. At this point, their hearts were beating even faster than the first time they had declared their love for a girl. But although they were very afraid of dying, the eyes of these 2 boys shone with determination to protect the innocence of Jana and Choco. Breno's eyes darkened. Holding a red spear in his hands, he delivered the first blow, crescent moon, whoosh. The power and speed of Breno's attack surprised the bandits, especially the 2 bandits at whom he had swung. In shock, the 2 bandits used their swords to defend themselves from the attack, blem. With his explosive strength, Breno made the 2 bandits retreat. He then launched a new attack diagonally with his red spear, whoosh. Breno was managing to make the 2 bandits retreat together. If it weren't for the fact that he got tired from fighting several at the same time, there would possibly have been hope for them to leave alive. Jair didn't stand still. He ran very fast, holding his sword, and attacked a bandit with green hair, fulminating attack, whoosh. Jair's attack was even faster than Breno's. With a quick slash of his sword, he cut off the arm of the green-haired bandit who shouted pitifully loud, "Bastard!" The bandit leader thought it would be dangerous to let Breno continue attacking and went over to stop him. Fatal blow. Holding his large 130 centimeters axe, the bandit leader attacked Breno. Breno thought quickly and, as if his body were a snake, he dodged in an agile manner, taking several steps back. Caution and fear passed through his eyes. The bandit leader was different from the others, having already reached level 6. The other bandits were all level 5 or 4. Jana, upon seeing Breno in danger, her little face went deathly pale. She started casting a spell and shouted, "Choco, go ahead." "I'll stay, ha." Choco laughed. She really didn't want to run away. If she were to die, so be it, but at the least she didn't want to run away like a coward. If she saw that she was about to be captured, she would swallow the chastity pill. Chapter 13. The chastity pill was a pill that Choco got from her mother. When swallowed, it took only 2 minutes to take effect, and the woman who swallowed the pill would die and her body would start to rot very quickly. Even if someone dared to do that with the woman's corpse, he too would die soon after, contracting an incurable disease. Choco started fighting hand-to-hand against a thief who was holding a dagger and was level 5, just like herself. However, she was at a disadvantage, as these thieves were used to fighting people while she was just used to fighting monsters. Jana conjured a fireball and attacked the group of thieves' archers, but however strong her attack was, it was still easy for them to dodge. Unfazed by this, Jana shouted, "Fire arrow rain." 5 arrows of fire appeared 5 meters above Jana's head and were directed to attack the 2 bandit archers. Boom! 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 Ah! The arrows of fire hit the ground successively. However, one of the arrows of fire hit the leg of the archer who had his long hair tied up in a ponytail. "You whore!" The ponytail archer screamed angrily. He gritted his teeth in pain. The other archer was able to conjure water with his mana and used it to put out the fire on the ponytail archer's leg. "Stop being stupid and attack together, you incompetents!" The bandit leader shouted at his men. The bandits seemed to fear their leader, and even though they were ridiculed by him, it did not faze them as they started attacking in groups. The fight continued for a few minutes and Choco's group started to tire. Jair, who was unable to dodge the attack by the bandit leader in time, had a part of his belly cut by the bandit leader's axe. Blood started to flow out and his face grew pale. He was already tired and could no longer hope to win, but he still stood his ground and shouted, "Choco, Jana, run away now! Don't let my death be in vain." Breno, being a man of few words, held his spear tightly. He had sharp eyes and was determined to die alongside Jair. Holding back the group of bandits for the 2 girls to flee, the bandit leader laughed out loud. "It's too late to try to run away. You're all going to die here and now. Of course, we'll have fun with these girls first." Kikik, the other bandits who were once down, now, because of their number of people being greater, were still full of energy, whereas Choco's group was already tired. Seeing their leader laugh, all the bandits laughed together and started to lick their dry lips, imagining the near future. "Leader, I haven't tried a woman of such high quality in a long time," a bold thug said as he looked lustfully at Choco. "Kisame, it's your lucky day. I'll let you all taste these women." Ha ha ha. The bandit leader was now genuinely happy. He saw that this group of teenagers had some good things on them, and what made him happy the most was Choco. Choco had very white skin and looked incredibly soft with an exceptionally beautiful body, full of curves and flesh in all the right places. She was one of the most beautiful women he had ever seen. If it weren't for the fact that he feared she might betray him, he would let her live and make her his woman. Whoosh! Boom! A blue light streaked down from the sky, and something the size of a strawberry hit the chest of one of the archer thieves and stopped his heart, killing him instantly without even giving him a chance to scream. "Who is it?" The bandit leader was on full alert. In the sky, the bandits saw a winged woman flying with a pair of white wings slightly darkened by pink feathers, with a face and body straight out of another world. For these lustful bandits, seeing this winged woman almost made drooling waterfalls cascade from their mouths. "Who I am?" The winged woman pointed at herself, a smile appearing on her pretty face as she said, "I am Nero," she said proudly as if her name was something that should be remembered. Where did this crazy girl come from? The leader of the bandit group thought while remaining cautious. Although he didn't know this girl and never heard of her, he had a strange sense of danger the moment he saw her. Despite having someone arriving and apparently wanting to help them, Choco and her group were on alert, not giving themselves a chance to be attacked unawares by the thieves. Don't be afraid. I guarantee I don't bite. Nero's silhouette appeared behind a bandit in a dark green cloak. Her smile was as bright as the sun, of course, in the eyes of the man with the dark green cloak. It was more like a devil's smile, however. I'm going to punch you. Before the thief with the dark green cloak could react, Nero punched his back very hard and the sound crack echoed, and before the bandit could bother to understand, he felt a huge pain in his back. His entire body was then thrown out in a bizarre U shape, falling heavily on the forest floor. Thud. Aha! The thief screamed and writhed on the ground in pain. He couldn't even get up, his spine ended up splitting in half from the impact of Nero's punch. Just then, Nero realized how strong her punch could be. After all, this was a thief who was at level 4. Just before she was about to be counterattacked, Nero flapped her wings and flew up. Although she was not an expert on using her wings, she now had some experience and would not be easily caught by these thieves. As she flew, she materialized a rock in her left hand. Looking down, she searched for her next target. Wow, Choco and the rest were so surprised that they were stunned as they looked at Nero flying in the air. She was agile, decisive, powerful, and incredibly beautiful. However, to the thieves, as lustful as they were over her, Nero seemed something even more frightening than a level 7 monster. The bald thief who had fled Nero before, seeing her again, felt fear in his heart. Even worse, she seemed to be stronger, which was surprising since it was not so long ago that he had just fought against her. Hey, watch out for those arrows. Nero screamed from the air as she dodged the arrows the thieves shot at her. Chapter 14. Strangely, everyone else understood only a few words that the winged woman said. Her words were in their language but mixed with another language, and it was very difficult to understand what was saying. But no one had time to think about it, especially those who had become her targets. While in the air, she hurled rocks surrounded by a blue aura down on them at surprising speed. If these thieves were just a little careless, they would be seriously injured or even killed. Damn, keep shooting that winged woman with arrows. The thief leader screamed in frustration. His face that was already ugly became even worse by his distorted expression of anger, seeing that another thief had taken out a bow as well and started shooting arrows at her. Nero flew higher and higher out of range of the arrows. Upon her doing this, the bald thief took the opportunity to slip out unnoticed and flee. He would not put his life at risk because of other people. He didn't care if these thieves lived or died, he had just met them by chance. Because of this, there also was no way the head of the Silver Thief Guild was going to learn that he ran away, leaving his comrades to die. Nero did not understand or know exactly what she was. She had basically everything going for her: a keener nose than a normal person, the ability to see from far away, good hearing that was able to hear from far away. That's how she heard these bandits' laughter while flying above them. And also very sharp natural instincts. Seeing from the sky that same bald thief who tried to her before wanting to escape, she tracked him with her eyes. Nero looked like an eagle watching the bald thief, preparing to attack. She didn't need to support Choco's group so much at the moment, because after she killed one of them and left another half dead, the pressure they were feeling decreased a lot. Her interest was now set on this bald thief who was trying to escape. When the bald thief stepped away from the group of thieves and started running very fast, Nero's first reaction was to take a stone from her inventory and follow the bald thief. Kisame, the bald thief, was so focused on running away, running with all his strength, that he didn't notice he was being chased. He was so caught up in running that he didn't even look back, much less look at the sky. Before the bald thief could be happy about his escape, Nero threw a stone at high speed in his direction. Whoosh! The sound of the stone cutting through the air echoed and the bald thief shuddered with fear, running faster. That same sound had been present even in his recent nightmares. When he slept before, he dreamed that he was being attacked by stones from heaven, and the image of Nero always invaded his mind and disturbed his sleep. Kisame threw himself to the right in a decisive way, dodging the stone that flew towards him. He shouted with anger and fear as he stood up, "Mercy, stop following me, wretched woman. Oh, weren't you the one who chased me first? Now, I am just returning the favor," Nero said. She swore that she tried to speak in the same language as the bald thief, but she did not know that everything came out in a strange way with a mix of words from this world and her previous world. What did this strange woman say now? Kisame didn't have time to try to find out what she said, because Nero made the next move. Boom. 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 Faced with the stone rain straight out of his nightmares, Kisame did everything to avoid them and not be hit. However, some ended up hitting his feet and arms. And one even grazed his head. Blood began to drain from his temple, down past his eyes. His arms and legs were very sore, and if it weren't for the fact that he was a level 5 and had a tough body, he would have likely already died. Nero was surprised to see that this bald thief had not yet died or passed out even after being hit by so many stones, but she did not think about it and attacked again. However, this time she used her ability that had finished cooling down, Queen's Throw, whoosh. The thrown stone swept through the wind, making an amazing sound, and whizzed towards the bald thief. With his injured feet, Kisame clenched his teeth and tried to run, but he wasn't fast enough. The stone that descended from the sky was far too fast for him to be able to dodge in his current condition. Hellish pain invaded his body and he screamed loudly as if there was no tomorrow. The stone lodged itself in his chest and pierced his lung, scraping his heart. Falling to the floor with the sound of thud. Kizaru vomited blood and looked at Nero with his bloodshot eyes full of anger and resentment. Nero descended to the dirt floor. Walking towards the bald thief, she looked at him, and as much as she hated him for trying to her before, she didn't want to be watching him suffer, wasting too much time on it. Primal Slime level 3 has been invoked. Spit acid. At the same time that she summoned Primal Slime, she commanded it to attack with acid. No dash, that was the last word the bald thief said before he was hit by the acid in his face and died. You defeated the human thief, rank F, level 5. Nero did not want to see the thief's face deformed by the acid, so she commanded the Primal Slime to eat the bald thief's body and looked away. Choco, for the first time in her life, killed someone. She looked at her blood-stained glove which she used to punch in the thief's head, and her body trembled. It was a terrible feeling. Jana, seeing Choco's pale face and shaking body, came over and hugged her gently. Jana didn't know what to say at the moment, so she remained silent while her friend cried in her arms, I killed someone. Choco murmured while crying. Jair and Breno had to make even more effort not to let the two girls be attacked while Choco was in shock from having killed someone. But luckily for them, Nero came back just then. Seeing Nero's return, whom they thought fled, the thieves began to once again be afraid. Before, they had already feared that winged girl who was even more difficult to catch than a slippery mouse, but now that she returned and there were only 5 left on their side who could fight, it made them curse their bad luck, especially Nero. The cause of their bad luck. Did I miss anything? Nero found it strange that the two girls were hugging each other while crying. However, soon she realized that a thief had died from a heavy punch, and seeing blood on Choco's glove, she was able to understand what had happened. Chapter 15, Deal with the leader and those who are using swords and daggers. I will deal with these archers, Nero said with broken language, yes. Fortunately, Breno and Jair did not take long to understand what she said and nodded in response. Jair, holding his sword, went up to the bandit leader, while Breno fought 2 bandits simultaneously using his spear. Nero, on the other hand, flapped her wings and flew towards the 2 archers. One was wearing a dark brown cap and the other had red hair, resembling a rooster with only a high hairline in the middle of his head. Shoot arrows, don't let it get any closer. The red-haired Mohawk screamed with fear filling his voice, yes. The other with the dark brown cap agreed and took arrows from his quiver and started shooting at Nero. Whoosh! Whoosh! Nero spun in the air, spectacularly as she continued to head towards the archers. Damn, what a fierce woman. Seeing her aerial acrobatics, the archer with the cap screamed in frustration and continued to shoot the arrows in the direction of Nero, who easily deflected them. It was almost impossible for them who were at level 4 to be able to compare to Nero's instincts. Even a level 5 would have a hard time hitting her with an arrow. Nero flew, and when she was close she retreated backward, staying in a straight position, and quickly and decisively, she unleashed her ability, Queen's Throw. The screeching sound of the stone wrapped in blue aura cutting the wind echoed with one whoosh. The speed was so great that for the archer who was very close to Nero, he didn't have time to escape. Crack! The stone hit the Mohawk archer thief's jaw and traveled through his throat. When his body fell backward against the dirt floor, the sound thud resounded, and he thrashed his legs until he stopped moving. There was no response from his death in the system. Nero guesses that the guy may have just passed out, although it seemed hard to believe. But she also knew it would only be a matter of time before that archer thief died. Seeing this, the other brown-capped archer wanted to flee, taking several steps back. Nero didn't look like she was going to chase him. Instead, suddenly, Nero disappeared right before his eyes, straight into thin air. In the next moment, she mysteriously appeared once again right in front of the brown-capped thief who was about to run. She materialized a sword from her inventory and, full of murderous intent, she cut that thief with a brown-cap's neck, saying, "Goodbye." The eyes of the brown-capped thief were wide open when his head was severed from his neck. Blood spurted out of his neck like a fountain. His head fell on the floor and rolled with his eyes still open in total disbelief, while his body took a while to fall to the ground with a sudden thud. As the life of that little thief was taken away, it all happened fairly fast. In less than 5 minutes, Nero killed a level 4 thief and left another nearly dead. You defeated the human thief, rank F, level 4. You defeated the human thief, rank F, level 4. In other words, she killed 2 thieves in less than 5 minutes. Seeing this, the other 2 thieves fell into despair. Only the leader of the thieves remained somewhat calm. However, this carelessness made Breno seize the initiative and pierce the chest of one of the thieves. Shit. The thief swore and vomited a lot of blood and his eyes rolled back, turning white. Although he felt bad about killing someone, Breno still managed to keep his mind clear. While in his mild shock from killing someone, Breno was attacked by another thief holding a sword. "Watch out," screamed Jana with much fear in her voice. At the last second, when Breno was only inches away from the sword, the sound of blam echoed and the sword was forcibly deflected by a stone. "Thanks." Breno was deeply grateful to Nero. Jana and Choco also thanked her right away. Nero smiled in response, but didn't waste any time. She moved quickly with her wings and climbed into the air. From up top, she threw a rock with a blue aura using Queen's Throw. The rock flew towards the thief, who almost lost his sword, his arms still numb. Blam! As the thief was stationary, the thrown stone hit the thief's right eye, entering his skull. You defeated the human thief, rank F, level 5. It was a tragic end for the thief, killed by a stone that pierced his eyes. Jair, who was almost struck by the axe of the thieves' leader, distanced himself as he prepared to attack alongside Breno. The leader of the thieves pointed his axe at Nero and the rest while saying fearlessly, "I can still handle 5 against 1, no. 1 against 1, Nero said as she came down from the air. "Are you being serious?" The thief leader chuckled and said, "As you wish." "This is better." Whoosh, a stone was thrown by Nero. It was so fast that it hit the thieves' leader leg, making blood flow down its length. "Hey, you'll have to dodge there or it won't be funny," Nero said with a half smile. Immediately, the expression of the thieves' leader changed dramatically. The intense pain in his legs made a cold sweat soak his forehead. He hobbled back a few steps. "Coward! Stop throwing those shiny stones!" the thief leader shouted. He was so angry he could barely control his voice when he screamed, "Hee, I didn't know there were rules that said you can't attack using stones." Nero sneered. It was no matter if the leader of the thieves could understand what she was saying or not, "But I will fulfill your wish, I will not throw stones at you anymore." Nero said with a mischievous smile, "Instead, I'll throw this." What she had in her hands were 2 daggers taken from the thieves she killed earlier. The leader of the thieves cursed his big mouth, which had brought further calamity to himself. Choco, who had been crying before, was now calmer. She and Jana were staring at Nero in shock. With just a stone, she had managed to hurt this thief who was at level 6. Imagine if she used these daggers, how scary it would be. "Let's talk. We don't need to fight, okay?" The leader of the thieves saw that things had already spun out of his control. He was not confident in being able to defeat them all. "I'm leaving, and I promise never to appear in front of you again." "What do you think of this?" "I think you're an idiot if you think I'm going to let you go like that." Nero clearly had no intention of letting him get away. Like bullshit, she would. If she did that, it was tantamount to giving the bastard thief a chance to take revenge later. Chapter 16, You Whore. Don't be so convinced you've won. I know how to throw things too. After he said that, he raised his axe and pretended to throw it at Nero, but he didn't really let it go until he turned and aimed toward Jair. Whoosh! Damn! Nero had a bad premonition about this and threw the knife using Queen's Throw, but as the axe did not come towards her, and rather went towards Jair, she wouldn't be able to stop it in time since the axe was thrown with too great a force and too high a speed. Nero wasn't fast enough for her to be able to save Jair. No, Jana and Choco screamed in terror. They wanted to help, but they too were not fast enough. Jair clenched his teeth and saw that he was no longer able to escape. All he could do was try to attack with his sword to slow down the thrown axe. Blam! The metallic sound echoed and sparks came off of the axe and sword, and with the sound of a large crack. Jair's sword broke into pieces and the axe hit his chest. Pow! Jair vomited blood as he was forced back by the impact of the axe. He was in such pain in his chest as if he had been hit by a hammer to his chest, which in truth had not been much different, as he had been hit by the brunt side of the axe. The pain was unbearable, making him vomit blood as he fell on the floor and then passed out. Jair, the two girls shouted his name and Breno as well. The three went to him. Ha 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 ha. Even if I die, I will at least take one of you with me. Kakakakaka. The leader of the thieves burst into insane laughter, full of cruelty and wickedness. He didn't even try to dodge the dagger that came flying towards him, which ended up lodging itself in his head. You defeated the demon, assassin, rank F, level 6, Nero frowned. She thought this thief was human, but from what her system said, it was a demon. And it was an assassin instead of a thief. No, no, no. Jana said no less than 3 times when she noticed that Jair's heart was no longer beating. She went into despair, crying and screaming very loudly for fear of losing her brother. You can't die, don't leave me, don't die, Jair. Nero was not known to them, but she still felt sorry for them when she saw them cry like that. Nero came over and tried to say, do mouth-to-mouth breathing and also pump his chest. What? They looked at Nero without understanding. It was very difficult to follow what she meant, especially when it was words that they had never heard before in their lives. Let me help, Nero said. She knew she would have to do it herself and not be worried that she would have to put her mouth on a man's mouth. After all, it was a life that was at stake. Do you know how to save him? Jana asked, and Nero nodded. Okay, please save my brother. Jana pleaded. Nero nodded again and approached Jair. She knelt next to him and saw that his chest had suffered a severe blow. Taking a deep breath, using her knowledge from the other world, she placed one hand over the other, and with the heel of the hand and the extended arm, she began to compress down on his sternum. She had a lot of strength, so she had to restrain herself, but she knew that at this moment she had to use at least a little strength. The speed that she did the compression was from 100 to 120 beats per minute. When she felt his heart beating, Nero was happy, but didn't allow herself to relax. Covering her nose with one hand, filling her lungs with air, she brought her trembling lips closer to Jair's lips. Seeing this, Jana and Choco were totally surprised, but when they saw that Jair's heartbeat returned, they didn't interfere. With her mouth in his mouth, she started to blow slowly for about 2 seconds. Removing her mouth, she filled her lungs with air again and blew again after 5 seconds. Ah, it worked. Nero sighed in relief and walked away from him a little. Jair took another breath, looking like he came out of a nightmare, breathing heavily. Thank God. Choco hugged Nero, without caring that they just met, while shouting loudly thanking her from the bottom of her heart. Thank you so much. If it weren't for you, my friend would have died. Jana, who was hugging her brother while crying a lot, also hugged Nero afterward and thanked her, again and again. She understood the sacrifice Nero had to make in saving her brother's life, so she didn't even have enough words to thank Nero for saving her brother. Breno also thanked her. He was deeply moved by Nero's actions. Jair, before he knew what was going on, passed out again, but this time he was still breathing. While they took care of Jair, Nero took advantage of the fact that they were distracted and worried about Jair to allow her to secretly absorb the corpses. When they looked and saw Nero's actions, they thought she was piling up and then going to burn or bury the bodies. Of course, Nero was not going to say that the thieves would turn into fertilizer for her primal slime. Alone beside a small mountain of corpses, Nero invoked the primal slime. At the same time that the primal slime appeared, she commanded it to eat all of the corpses. It wasn't as if the primal slime had any objection. It didn't seem to have a conscience of its own, doing whatever Nero ordered. Primal slime, whose body appeared to be made of acid, began to melt the corpses and absorb everything into its green gelatinous body. When primal slime finally finished with all the corpses, which took some time, it was possible to see through the constantly changing primal slime's gelatinous body the thieves' remains turned into fertilizer to nourish primal slime. Primal slime mutated. Primal slime level 3 is now demonic acid slime level 4. A pair of arms grew from the body of slime. The body also got bigger, being almost 300 centimeters tall. Demonic acid slime had quite the demonic appearance, with a green body and thick arms that looked like a gelatinous tree trunk. The head was oval with a pair of snake eyes, incredibly intimidating. It had no nose or ears, and on the chest, it was possible to see a small bulge. Is it a female slime? Nero didn't know if slime had the concept of male or female, but seeing that it seemed that her slime evolution had breasts, although small, she came to believe that it was because slime was always female, only she had not been able to differentiate between the genders. Chapter 17. It was feasible to think that it was because slime absorbed the corpse of that demon that it turned into something demonic. Moreover, it seems that it gained a new ability called demonic force. This ability made demonic acid slime have a power increase by 100% for 1 minute, but it also consumed a lot of mana when used, which would be equivalent to half of what slime had currently. I will try to get some information from this group of people that I just helped and try to understand my current situation better. Nero thought while making his summon monster dematerialize, going back to the monster slot to summon. When she returned, she saw that Breno was carrying Jair on his back. Jana and Choco were beside him with looks of concern. Nero, right? Choco said with a grateful smile, "Thank you so much for everything you have done for us. If you have anything we can help with, just ask, Air." Nero tried to speak as clearly as possible. Information, I need information, Infor. Choco had a lapse in understanding and said, "You need information, right?" Seeing Nero nod, she continued, "Okay, we're going on our way to the village that is northwest of this forest, and on the way, I can tell you all the information I know. What do you think about that? Do you want to go to Esfim town?" Nero thought for a moment and then nodded in agreement. She knew she couldn't go on without information. And it seems that Choco's group were decent people, at least it didn't look like she had to worry about being attacked by them. Great. A beautiful smile formed on Choco's cherry-colored lips. She wanted to find some way to thank Nero for the help she had given them, and if she went to Esfim town, she possibly could somehow help her. On the way, Choco started saying many things to Nero about Esfim town, which was in the Nan Empire. She also told Nero that there was a dungeon for beginners in Esfim town that could be used by a group of hunters with at least 5 people. Among all the information she was given, the one that Nero was most interested in was the hunter card, which all hunters seemed to use. This had functions similar to her system, but it seemed to be more simplistic. It was like a basic version of a computer operating system. Hunter cards could use absorb on the bodies of the monsters, however, it took almost 2 minutes at a time. The card also had a separate space to store items, but it was only 1 cubic meter. Choco's hunter card showed her information, how she was from the beater class, who specializes in hand-to-hand combat with gloves, and how she was at level 5 and had 56 strength, human, and 30 energy, mana. In addition, Nero learned that Esfim town was very similar to medieval times in the ancient world, with buildings made of stones and with cobblestone pavement. There were 4 significant clans in Esfim town: the Lin clan, which was the strongest, the Qin clan, which had almost the same political power as the Nen clan, and the clan which was the weakest among them was the Long clan. Nero was surprised to learn that Choco was basically a princess, being the daughter of the patriarch of the Qin clan. But her surprise turned into disappointment as Choco told her how she was treated in the clan and that she was the daughter of a concubine, and because of that she didn't have that much authority in the Qin clan, but she promised that she would do her best to help settle down in Esfim town. Almost 3 hours after they started walking, the sky started to get dark and the moon was already becoming apparent. Breno was quite tired, since he had been carrying Jair on his back after the long battle. "We will stop and rest. At dawn, we will continue," Jana suggested. "I agree." Choco was also feeling exhausted from everything that happened. Nero waved. She was not against this idea. Moreover, she was dependent on them to some extent. "Let's make a tent then." "I'm not too tired yet, I can be the first to be on watch," Choco told them. "I can do it," Nero said suddenly. As she was pointing at herself, they understood what she said with her broken language. "So, we can both take first watch. In the meantime, I can teach you more about the Nan Empire and I can teach you to better speak our language." Choco smiled at Nero. "Okay," Nero waved. After that, Breno drank some water and removed 2 tents from his hunter card. They were simple tents, a little less than 2 meters long and 3 meters wide, just large enough to fit a family. Jana entered one tent alone, while Jair and Breno entered another. Choco and Nero stood guard outside, sitting next to a tree in the green grass. "Nero, where are you from?" Choco asked as she looked at her. "Too far." She wasn't lying when she said that. After all, she came from Earth. From the territory of the angels, perhaps? Choco tried to guess. Nero shook her head in denial. In reality, she didn't even know where the ex-owner of this body came from. Nor did she know what exactly she was. She just knew it was a hybrid of something, possibly an angel with something else. Choco started telling her things. For example, there are 4 dominant races on this planet: humans, angels, demons, and demi-humans. All 4 races had a peace treaty, but that did not mean there was no war. Some still fought over territories, especially those in smaller cities and towns. There were also animals. However, only a few animals were as strong as a human: angels, demons, and demi-humans of rank S. Most lived by instinct. Few animals had wisdom equivalent to humans. Nero talked with Choco for a long time. Choco tried to feed Nero with as much information as she could. She also taught Nero the most basic words with which to communicate, words like eating, sleeping, night, day, afternoon, early, coming, going, light, dark, etc. Although the time was short, Nero digested everything and did not forget. Little by little, she started to speak a few words correctly, although she still had an accent. Another thing that Nero learned was that it was possible to make her wings smaller in size. They didn't disappear completely, but were very small on her back, almost imperceptible. And if she hid them with her shirt, it was basically impossible to know that she had wings. Choco was clear to warn Nero that although it was a time of peace, there were always some who resented the war and might attack Nero because of it. Nero took her words to heart, and when Choco said that angels could decrease the size of their wings, she tried it. It wasn't too difficult. She just needed to have the intention of making the wings shrink, and it would happen. Chapter 18. Choco was surprised to see that Nero seemed to know very little, even about herself, but she avoided asking so as not to invade Nero's privacy. Looking now and seeing Nero up close in the moonlight, Choco could see a very beautiful, otherworldly face. It was so beautiful that she thought Nero was the most beautiful woman she has ever seen in her life. And when her long white lashes blinked, her solar violet eyes looked even more beautiful. Choco? Nero, seeing that Choco was staring at her without blinking, felt a little embarrassed. Sorry, I got lost in my own thoughts. Choco made up an excuse. This Hunter Guild, right? Nero said, looking back at the moon. I want to apply, that would be incredible. Choco raised her voice and regretted it shortly afterward. She covered her mouth and took a deep breath, and said, that would be great. We can even form a group and explore a dungeon when Jair recovers. What do you think about that? Choco looked at Nero expectantly. Okay, I agree, Nero said slowly, afraid to exchange words. I'm so happy. Choco said with a cute expression, placing both hands on her cheeks. Nero laughed, finding her funny. Choco, Nero, you can get some sleep. I'll be on the lookout in the meantime. Breno came out of the tent and spoke to the girls outside. Okay. Nero and Choco did not reject his offer. They admitted they could barely stay awake for long. Breno had shown up at a good time. Inside the tent, Jana was sleeping in a corner, Choco was in the middle, and Nero was in the right corner. Nero was still a little scared to fall asleep because of the dream she had before, but sleep overcame her, and she ended up dreaming. Who are you? Mom, Dad, big sister. Why are you doing this to me? You are just another one of our experiments. Where am I? Why did my sister do this to me? Hi, I'm Yui. Nara is going to brush her teeth. I'll be alright, right, Mom, because of you, my older sister doesn't pay any more attention to me. Get those needles out of me. I was not born to become an experiment. Nara, 5 years old, big sister, are you going to hunt now? Nara asked. Yes, Nara's older sister, Elsa, replied, let me go with you? Nara asked innocently. No, you are still very young, Elsa answered her while stroking Nara's head with a gentle smile. Girls, the food is ready. Wash your hands and come eat. I'll be right there, Mom. Nara shouted in response. Wait, Nara, MHM? Nara looking to the side, seeing her middle sister Elaine. I know how you can go hunting with us, Elaine whispered. How? Nara asked with a sparkle in her eyes. Easy, just hide in the boat before we leave. She replied quietly, oh. I will. Nara had a revelation and responded cheerfully. Happy with the idea her sister gave her, inside a big hunting boat on the high seas, Nara, come out. It's your sister Elaine, are we already at sea? Nara came out from behind a door. Yes, Eliana replied. As if she had remembered something, she said, oh, you must be thirsty. Take this with you, thank you, sister. Nera said and took a bottle of water from her sister. After drinking for a few seconds, Nera said, Eliana, I am feeling weak, and I am a little dizzy. Elaine didn't speak, she just waved her hands with a wicked smile on her face. It's your fault that things came to this, Eliana said with undisguised anger. Sister, what's going on? Nera asked, confused. I don't understand, Elaine laughed devilishly and said, because of you, my older sister doesn't pay any more attention to me. You need to disappear. After all, you are just someone my sister met at sea. That's right. You are not our sister, you are just someone my sister met at sea and my mother started raising you as a daughter. But this has gone too far, you need to disappear. You are just a hindrance in my life. When she finished speaking, a few people in black appeared. It is yours now. You can take it. And make sure she never appears in front of me again, or else I will kill her personally. Eliana told them, right. The man in charge nodded and said, here's 5,000 essence coin as agreed. Nera cried a lot as she felt her eyes get heavy. Nera woke up later in a strange place, much like a cave and with iron bars at the entrance to the cave. You will stay in that cell from now on, said a tall man with horns on his head. Where is my mother? Let me go. Nera screamed but was ignored no matter how much she screamed. The man, before leaving, said to her, behave and do everything you are told, and you can live in a room. 1 year later, after going through some experiments and staying there for 1 year, Nera was assigned to stay in a room and became roommates with a girl about her age. Entering the room, she was greeted by a girl with long pink hair and white wings on her back. Hi, I'm Yui. Hi, I'm Nera. Nera got to know and talk to Yui every day. In addition to the experiments, they were just stuck inside that room, with only each other as company. Yui, aren't you sad that you ended up here? Asked Nera. I was never loved by my parents, I always had to ask for food on the street, until they sold me to these people. Yui replied, my sister said that I was found at sea and was not really her sister and sold me to them, Nera said sadly as she remembered. Chapter 19, 2 years later, Yui, the doctor is calling you, and 8-year-old Yui looked at Nera. It was as if she knew what was going to happen to her. Her eyes flickered a little, but then she smiled and said to her best and only friend, I'm going. Nera had a sad expression. She knew what was waiting for her friend. She had been in that place for 3 years and had gone through many experiments. Yes, I will be waiting for you here, Nera said and tried to smile, but it was almost impossible for her to be able to smile at this moment. Yui held Nera's 2 hands when she said, you once asked me if I was sad to come here, remember? Yes, Nera answered, recalling the subject. Actually, I'm glad it happened. Yui smiled kindly. I was able to meet you thanks to this, and even though I had to go through all this, I felt and discovered what it was like to be happy when I was by your side. I am also happy to have met you, Yui, said Nera. But finding it strange, she asked, but why are you saying this now? No reason in particular, she replied with a smile. I just wanted you to know that. Yui went to hug Nera, but the man lost his patience and entered the room, dragging Yui out from inside. 2 years later, Yui, the doctor is calling you, and 8-year-old Yui looked at Nera. It was as if she knew what was going to happen to her. Her eyes flickered a little. But then she smiled and said to her best and only friend, I'm going. Nera had a sad expression. She knew what was waiting for her friend. She had been in that place for 3 years and had gone through many experiments. Yes, I will be waiting for you here, Nera said and tried to smile, but it was almost impossible for her to be able to smile at this moment. Yui held Nera's 2 hands when she said, you once asked me if I was sad to come here, remember? Yes, Nera answered, recalling the subject. Actually, I'm glad it happened. Yui smiled kindly. I was able to meet you thanks to this, and even though I had to go through all this, I felt and discovered what it was like to be happy when I was by your side. I am also happy to have met you, Yui, said Nera. But finding it strange, she asked, but why are you saying this now? No reason in particular, she replied with a smile. I just wanted you to know that. Yui went to hug Nera, but the man lost his patience and entered the room, dragging Yui out from inside. You just asked a question, but yes, you can. Nero smiled. Jana laughed a little and asked, I was wondering, why did you come to help us? This. Nero was thoughtful. She then replied, it was not out of any sense of justice. As I flew with my wings, I heard very loud laughter. It was disgusting and reminded me of 2 thieves who tried to do disgusting things to me. So, I went to see what was going on, and that's when I saw you and the rest being attacked by a group of thieves, and I also recognized one of the thieves who has been one of the thieves who before came to attack me with impure motives. Wow. What an incredible coincidence! Jana smiled widely. It is our luck that this happened, or else we would have died. The possibility of being raped, which was the intention of the thieves, did not cross Jana's mind, since just as Choco had the chastity pill, she also had one. Of course, something even more extreme could have still happened, with Choco and her being captured and tied or knocked out before they could even take the chastity pill. Could you tell me a little about how to use magic? Nero blinked her eyes as she waited for her answer. Sure. What exactly would you like to know? Jana saw no problem in talking about it. I'm mainly interested in how to conjure up mana. Nero expressed her doubts. I know more or less how it works, but I still don't know exactly how to use it. See this? Jana manifested a small flame on the tip of her index finger. Nero nodded and Jana went on to say, conjuring mana is a lot like moving any part of the body, although a little more difficult. But just as we move our bodies automatically, if we train a lot, we can conjure up mana as an extension of our body. Now we come to the most important part, which is how to conjure up mana. When we reach a certain level, mana starts to be present in our body. We all have the ability to raise or lower our vibration of mana based on the thoughts we choose, the emotions we feel, the actions we take, and the alignment of our soul. For example, suppose for a moment that there is an aspect of you, your higher self if you like, that is so deeply powerful and vibrates at such a high heat that it could potentially melt the sun. Nero closed her eyes while doing what Jana said and she began to be surrounded by a dark grayish aura, like smoke from a fire that was extinguished by water. Although surprised, Jana continued to speak. Just as you train your body through physical exercise and you train your mind through reading, mana also needs to be exercised. Someone who wants to use their mana must always exercise their mana, but given time, they will succeed. This includes you. Just using it every day, even for small tasks, can improve mana control. This is also similar to learning to walk. In the beginning, you may stumble several times, but with practice, it makes perfect. When Jana stopped talking, Nero opened her eyes and was surprised to see that she was surrounded by a dark grayish aura. What is this? What you have around your body is called a mana field, Jana explained. Many wizards use this to defend themselves against magical and physical attacks. Of course, if for example I, who am a fire mage, were to make a field of fire mana, it would naturally have a greater defense if I am attacked by fire than not. In your case, I believe it is against dark energy, but of course, it will also help to defend against the other elements, although the result is less. I understand, but I feel that my mana is being sucked up very quickly. Nero asked hurriedly, how do I stop this? Chapter 20, just as it is activated, you simply have to channel your intention to stop and it will, Jana replied with a smile. She was surprised in her heart. What she didn't say was that for someone to be able to make a field of mana, even at an elementary level, it was something that needed many months to even years of practice, but Nero did it with just a simple explanation. If she was not surprised by this, could she still be surprised by anything anymore? While the two girls were talking, they heard a wolf howl. It didn't seem to be very far away, which caused Nero and Jana to be on alert. Stay here, take care of them. I will look. Nero did not speak very well. It was more like words were missing, but Jana was able to understand. And without waiting, Nero made her wings grow and flew towards the sky. In the air, she flew south, the same direction she heard the wolf howl. Be careful. Jana screamed not too loudly. But it was loud enough for Nero to hear. After flying for a while, Nero spotted a silver-black wolf which was seriously injured, surrounded by 3 green slime and a purple slime. Nero saw that before there had been at least 5 green slime along with what appeared to be the leader of the green slimes, a purple slime, a wolf alone against a group of slimes, led by a level 5 purple slime. Nero was surprised by this event. She was also delighted with how beautiful the wolf was. It made her think, it would be interesting to be able to tame this wolf. With that thought in mind, Nero materialized 2 stones from her inventory. She then started throwing rocks towards the green slimes and purple slime, helping the silver-black wolf. Bang! 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 It looked like a meteor shower falling on the earth as the stones fell from the sky, hitting the 3 green slimes, leaving only the purple slime which managed to survive being hit by the stones. The wolf, who had some intelligence, noticed that something was odd. It was startled by the fall of the stones but was in a state of surprise to see that it had not been hit once. The wolf, upon seeing the stone rain, Instead of running, laid on the ground with its two front legs on top of its head, wanting to protect itself against the stones. Nero had to admit this was funny and even a little cute. When Purple Slime noticed her presence and seemed to want to attack, it spat something, which appeared to be poison, seeing as it was purple. Nero dodged and used her strongest ability to attack, Queen's Throw. Nero threw the stone at a very high speed, and Purple Slime, which was slow, was unable to dodge it. With the sound of bang, the stone went through Purple Slime's head, killing it. The wolf that was still lying on the ground protecting itself, seeing that it was no longer raining stones from the sky, stood up on its four legs and looked in the direction of Nero coming down from the air. Caution and vigilance passed through the eyes of the silver-black wolf as it looked at Nero. Nero, who looked back at the wolf, noticed that this wolf had a certain degree of intelligence, although she thought the wolf was still stupid for standing in the middle of a stone shower. Looking closely, she noticed that this wolf was actually level 5, and remembering that she still needed to tame a level 4 monster, she thought, I'm going to make this wolf my second domesticated monster. You don't have to be so cautious. I won't hit you. Of course, you have to accept being tamed by me, otherwise. Nero's eyes seemed to carry a malicious gleam as she laughed. The silver-black wolf shuddered and wanted to escape as quickly as possible, but Nero was quicker with using her skill, Tame Monster. Oh, the silver-black wolf whimpered pitifully and tried to resist, but when it saw Nero's smiling yet fierce expression, the wolf was so afraid that it finally gave in. Good boy. Or should I say, good girl? Nero realized her mistake when she noticed that the wolf had no male organ. You have captured the beastly monster, Platinum Wolf, rank F, level 5, tamer, mission completed, reward, 50, essence coin, has been added to your inventory, reward, orange wand, 5 energy, has been added to your inventory. Oh whoa! The Platinum Wolf did not dematerialize but howled painfully as if she had suffered a very great loss, but she was smart enough to know that she needed to win favor from her new master. The wolf approached Nero and rubbed her head against Nero's waist. Nero did not mind this and stroked the wolf's head, noticing the fur was very soft to the touch. After appeasing the wolf for a few minutes, she made the orange wand materialize in her left hand. As soon as she held it, Nero was able to feel the mana grow a little. It even made it easier to channel mana towards the wand. Nero then looked at the 6 bodies of green slimes and one of purple slime and decided to use plunder on them. Plunder, Nero muttered as soon as she put her hand on one green slime. Would you like to plunder the monster plant, green slime, rank F, level 3, Nero clicked, yes. Green slime became a mist and was absorbed by her hand. Level F monster core, level 3, has been added to your inventory. Acid goo low quality, has been added to your inventory. 33, essence coin, has been added to your inventory. Almost all 5 green slimes were at level 3, only one was at level 4. Very fast, Nero began using plunder on green slimes. Level F monster core, level 3, has been added to your inventory. Green herb low quality, has been added to your inventory. 39, essence coin, has been added to your inventory. Level F monster core, level 4, has been added to your inventory. Thin stem low quality, has been added to your inventory. 43, essence coin, has been added to your inventory. Level F monster core, level 3, has been added to your inventory. Sticky mucus low quality, has been added to your inventory. 38, essence coin, has been added to your inventory. Level F monster core, level 3, has been added to your inventory. Green herb low quality, has been added to your inventory. 35, essence coin, has been added to your inventory. I need to be quick and do this before the others decide to come here. Nero said in her mind. Now only purple slime was left. Level F monster core, level 5, has been added to your inventory. Bronze ring low quality, has been added to your inventory. 59, essence coin, has been added to your inventory. Nero smiled nervously. She didn't expect it to drop an item when using plunder on the monster, but that doesn't mean she was sad. In fact, she laughed after holding the ring and discovering that it gave 3 more energy, mana.